Sydney Sweeney was born on September 12, 1997, in Spokane, Washington, far away from the bright lights of Hollywood. Her early years were spent in a modest, quiet town, where nobody could have guessed that this little girl would one day become one of the most talked-about actresses in the world. She grew up in a supportive yet hardworking family. Her father worked in the medical field, while her mother was a lawyer. Life was stable but simple, and Sydney's childhood was filled with the outdoors, school activities, and a sense of small-town normalcy. From a young age, however, Sydney wasn't just any ordinary girl. She had a deep fascination with storytelling, drama, and the world of cinema. When she was only around 12 years old, she convinced her parents to let her audition for a role. But unlike many children who simply begged, Sydney came prepared with a 5-year business plan that she presented to her parents, explaining how she could succeed as an actress. It was this determination, passion, and persistence that showed her family she wasn't dreaming casually. She was serious about chasing her destiny. Her parents eventually agreed, and they made the tough decision to relocate to Los Angeles, where Sydney could start pursuing auditions. Those early years were not glamorous. Sydney had to face constant rejection, the competitive nature of Hollywood, and the overwhelming pressure of standing out among thousands of other aspiring actors. Yet, her perseverance and resilience kept her moving forward. Her first acting opportunities came through small roles in television shows. She appeared in episodes of series like Criminal Minds, Grey's Anatomy, and 90210. Though these were minor appearances, they gave Sydney the exposure and experience she needed to sharpen her craft. She learned how to act in front of the camera, how to deliver lines naturally, and most importantly, how to adapt to different roles, no matter how small they were. Sydney's big break began when she was cast in Netflix's Everything Sucks. In 2018, the show, though short-lived, gave her the chance to portray a layered, emotional character named Emmeline, a high school drama student navigating teenage life. Her performance was praised for being genuine, vulnerable, and deeply relatable. Even though the series was canceled after one season, it put Sydney on the map, and people started recognizing her talent. Soon after, Sydney gained even more recognition with her role as Eden in The Handmaid's Tale, where she played a young, devout girl in a dystopian world. The intensity of the show and Sydney's raw acting left a lasting impression on audiences, showing her ability to embody complex characters with depth and sensitivity. But it was in 2019 when her life completely changed. Sydney was cast as Cassie Howard in HBO's Euphoria, a groundbreaking series that would catapult her to worldwide fame. Cassie was not just another high school girl. She was a character full of insecurities, desires, and struggles. Sydney brought Cassie to life with such honesty that audiences couldn't help but connect with her. Her portrayal of Cassie's emotional vulnerability, relationships, and battles with self-worth made her a standout in the series. The success of Euphoria gave Sydney a platform like never before. Suddenly, she wasn't just a supporting actress. She became one of the show's biggest highlights. Fans praised her for the way she brought raw emotion to every scene, whether it was through tears, silence, or the way she expressed Cassie's longing for love and acceptance. Critics also recognized her performance, calling her one of the most promising young talents of her generation. In addition to Euphoria, Sydney continued to expand her career by taking on diverse roles. In 2021, she starred in HBO's The White Lotus, a dark comedy drama series set in a luxury resort. Her role as Olivia Mossbatcher, a sharp-tongued and privileged teenager, was completely different from Cassie in Euphoria. This contrast allowed Sydney to prove her versatility as an actress. She could play the vulnerable, emotionally wounded Cassie, but she could also transform into the sarcastic and entitled Olivia, making it clear that she was not limited to one type of role. Her performances not only brought her critical acclaim, but also opened doors for bigger opportunities in Hollywood. Soon, Sydney found herself working alongside A-list stars in major projects. She appeared in Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, sharing screen with Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, and Margot Robbie. Although her role was small, It was significant because it showed that she had entered Hollywood's elite circle. Behind her on-screen success, Sydney's journey wasn't always easy. She has spoken openly about the challenges she faced, including financial struggles and the pressures of sustaining a career in Hollywood. At one point, her family even lived in a hotel while trying to support her dream. These hardships shaped Sydney into a determined, hardworking, and humble person. She never let the glamour of Hollywood change her authentic self. Instead, she used every obstacle as motivation to push forward. By 2022, Sydney had not only established herself as a Hollywood star, but also as a producer. She launched her own production company, 50/50 Films, with the goal of creating stories that highlight strong female characters and voices often overlooked in the industry. This move proved that she wasn't just interested in acting, she wanted to shape the industry from behind the camera as well. Today, Sydney Sweeney is one of the most sought-after actresses in the entertainment world. She has signed on to major film projects, including action-packed thrillers and romantic dramas, and her fan base continues to grow across the globe. What makes her stand out is not just her beauty, but her incredible work ethic, emotional depth, to connect with audiences on a human level. Sydney's rise from a small-town girl with big dreams to one of Hollywood's brightest stars is nothing short of inspiring. Her story is a reminder that success doesn't come overnight, but through resilience, dedication, and belief in oneself. Sydney Sweeney is proof that no matter how many challenges come your way, if you stay focused and passionate, you can turn your dreams into reality. As Sydney Sweeney's career gained momentum, so did her presence in the cultural conversation. She was no longer just an actress appearing in popular shows. She was becoming a voice for a new generation of Hollywood stars, bold, ambitious, and unafraid to take risks. After her breakthrough in Euphoria and The White Lotus, the industry began to notice how seamlessly she could adapt between genres. Sydney didn't want to be typecast or stuck in one kind of role. Instead, she sought out opportunities that would challenge her and allow her to showcase new dimensions of her acting abilities. This mindset led her to sign onto a wide variety of projects, from gritty psychological dramas to romantic comedies and even action-packed thrillers. In interviews, Sydney has often said that she approaches each role as a chance to live someone else's life. For her, acting is more than memorizing lines. It's about diving into the psychology of a character, understanding their fears, their secrets, their passions. This dedication is what makes her performances so unforgettable. Viewers don't just see Sydney on the screen. They see Cassie, or Olivia, or any other role she inhabits. Her role in Euphoria continued to grow in the second season, where Cassie's storylines became even more dramatic and emotionally charged. The internet exploded with memes, discussions, and endless analysis of Cassie's choices, her breakdowns, and her longing for love. Sydney found herself at the center of pop culture, with entire episodes trending on social media because of her performance. It was clear that Sydney had cemented herself not only as a talented actress, but also as a cultural phenomenon. But with fame came challenges. Sydney has openly spoken about the pressures of Hollywood, how the industry can sometimes be unforgiving, how scrutiny over appearances and private life can take a toll, and how balancing personal relationships with a demanding career isn't easy. Yet, instead of letting these challenges break her down, she used them as fuel to keep growing. Her ability to handle fame with grace has made her even more relatable to fans. Sydney doesn't pretend to be perfect. She acknowledges her struggles, talks about her anxieties, and shows that behind the glitz and glamour, she is human too. This authenticity is part of what makes people connect with her so strongly. In addition to acting, Sydney's passion project, her production company 50/50 Films, has been steadily gaining traction. She has expressed her desire to bring untold stories to life, especially those that highlight strong, complex women. Through this venture, Sydney is working toward creating a more inclusive Hollywood, one where diverse voices are heard and respected. By stepping into the role of producer, she has shown that she's not just content being in front of the camera. She wants to shape the industry from behind the scenes too. Sydney's love for cars also surprised many of her fans. Beyond the glamorous red carpets and photo shoots, she has a passion for mechanics and restoring vintage vehicles. On social media, she has shared videos of herself working on her classic car, showing that she isn't afraid to get her hands dirty. This hobby reflects her grounded personality and her desire to stay true to who she is, no matter how famous she becomes. As her career soared, Sydney also began landing major film roles. In 2023, she took on leading parts in projects that gave her even more room to shine on the big screen. Her ability to balance TV and film projects demonstrated not only her versatility, but also her determination to build a long-lasting career. She wasn't chasing quick fame. She was building a foundation that would carry her for decades. Another part of Sydney's rise has been her impact on fashion and pop culture. With her striking looks and effortless style, she became a favorite of designers and a regular presence at major fashion events. She has graced the covers of leading magazines, walked prestigious red carpets, and been praised for her elegance and confidence. Sydney has become a style icon, blending Hollywood glamour with a sense of authenticity that fans adore. Despite her growing fame, Sydney has never forgotten her roots. She often speaks about her gratitude for her family, who sacrificed so much to support her dream. Her journey from Spokane to Hollywood is a story of persistence, not just hers, but her family's as well. Their belief in her talent and her refusal to give up have been the driving forces behind her success. Looking ahead, Sydney Sweeney's future is brighter than ever. With multiple projects lined up, both as an actress and a producer, she is on track to become one of the defining stars of her generation. What makes her stand out is that she isn't simply chasing fame. She is pursuing meaningful work, roles that challenge her, and projects that can inspire others. For fans around the world, Sydney is more than just a celebrity. She is a symbol of determination, a reminder that even if you come from a small town with no connections, hard work and perseverance can open doors to unimaginable opportunities. She shows that success is not about where you start, but about how much you're willing to fight for your dreams. Sydney Sweeney's story is still being written, and that is what makes it so exciting. She has already accomplished so much at such a young age, but it feels like this is just the beginning. Whether she is playing a vulnerable teenager in a high school drama, a sarcastic heiress in a dark comedy, or a fearless woman in a blockbuster film, Sydney continues to captivate audiences with her authenticity and talent. Her legacy is shaping up to be one of courage, passion, and impact. Sydney Sweeney is not just a Netflix star, not just an HBO favorite, and not just a Hollywood beauty. She is a force of nature, a dreamer turned doer, and a shining example of what it means to believe in yourself no matter how many obstacles stand in your way. And as her journey continues, one thing is clear: Sydney Sweeney isn't just part of Hollywood's present, she's its future.